Hey, y'all, hey, we are back for another review of Sistas on BET. We are on season 6, episode 3, entitled Fanning the Flames. And in true my fashion, I wasn't able to get to episode 2, so I'm gonna do a little quick recap. Last episode, Danny beat up Jonah because he broke into her apartment. He was literally trying to choke her to death, trying to kill her. So we're in the remnants of that. Additionally, Miss Decoy Tamara is getting greedy. Fatima told her, that Tamara was looking for pay, and she told her, like, hey, my cousin sent you here, which means your pay is whatever gifts that you can get out of Hayden, and she wants to basically take all the money. She's getting greedy. She's getting greedy, and that could potentially mess up the whole plan. Pam realizes that Karen was headed to the shop, and now we're going to pick up where we left off with Karen at the shop. Side note, voice is giving very much crackling, so bear with me. Anyway, Pam shows up to the burnt down shop, and she wants to get in and see how bad the damage is, but they're not letting her get in there. The firefighters are telling her that the coroner's on the way. There was a body inside, and they need to figure that out before they do anything or give out any information. Of course, which is to be understood, Pam kind of falls apart, and then Eric shows up a few seconds later, and she tells him about the body. Again, they don't have any answers, and Pam wants to call Karen's mom, but Aaron is like, no. He's kind of in denial, but also being a little realistic as far as, hey, we don't know that is her, so let's just wait until we, know for sure that it's Karen that was in there. He's not willing to believe that it's her, and he also begins to get angry. Like, he's getting a little hostile, telling Pam, like, girl, it's your fault. You should have cut the things off. You never taken this job seriously, which none of that matters at this point. Is not the time or the place, because there's nothing we can do about where we're at in this instant. But, they kind of go back and forth about that. All right, so Zach shows up at the office to talk to Fatima. He cannot wait. He has an appointment at 3 o'clock to go see Heather to see the status of where she's living and everything that's going on with baby Michael. And he just can't wait. He had just spoken to Heather, and Heather told Zach, like, hey, because he's asking, like, hey, what are you doing? She's like, I'm asleep. And he's like, where's the baby? And he's like, she's like, he's in there, basically to his own devices. Her sister helps her at night while she's at work, and during the day she watches the baby. But by watching the baby, that means she's asleep, and the baby is being watched by the tablet and her cell phone, left up to his own devices, which is not really watching him. It's just being in the same house, apartment, or wherever you are with the baby. And so he says that to Fatima, and Fatima knows that that's not a good situation at all. And then Zach reminds us, like, hey, it's very reminiscent of his childhood and his mom, because she did a lot of the same things while she was in the back, getting high and all this other stuff. So he doesn't want his son to go through that, which is honorable, because he just found out about this baby very quickly. Just found out that, the DNA results, all of that is early on in this thing. And, he's still showing up in a paternal sense for the son. All right, so Fatima's like, hey, what we're going to do, right? Instead of waiting until 3, like she said, we're going to go at 12, which means we're going to go on my lunch break. And he's like, well, she said 3. And she's like, no, we're going to do 12, because she's going to be caught off guard, and we're going to be able to see what it is that we need to see. Which is weird, because if you're home during the day, 3 o'clock is like the end of the day. Why you want me to wait so late? What you got going on? She didn't give him a good answer as to why she's saying 3. So, yeah, they just going to do a drop-in while she's unprepared to see what's really going on. And I, for one, I ain't even mad about it. So, we'll come back to that. Brian is at home. I'm sorry, Sabrina. Sabrina is at home, and I can't remember his name, but the African prince shows up, and she damn near jumps in his arms, thanks him for posting a bell for Maurice, and basically everything he's done thus far, considering the fact that she has not known him that long. She tells him that she's probably going to lose her job, and he tells her, listen, I can make it where you don't have to worry about it. And she's like, nope, I don't mind working. I just want to, get my footing, maybe be able to explain to them the situation, but it's likely that I may lose the job. And he tells her that he's willing to help her with rent. That's not a problem. Money's not enough. Chick, I'm good to go. And she tells him, like, hey, I got savings, you know, I got some investments, I got some things that'll, you know, that'll cushion my living expenses for a little while until I get this sorted out, so I'm good. And she's worried. She's like, yeah, I'm okay. I have what I need, you know, as far as savings. Now, Maurice doesn't have the same luxury, but we'll figure out something for Maurice. And then he offers to give her some investment tips and offers to double whatever she has on hand. And that part was giving me very much scam likely. It was giving very much scam likely. Now, he did post $1 million in bail, which was a cash bond, if I'm not mistaken, for Maurice. But it was given, you know, you give me 100, I give you 1,000 type of scheme. That goes around a lot lately on the internet. But we're just gonna, you know, hope for the best when it comes to him. She does agree, but they'll handle the details later. And then he whisks her off to lunch because, you know, that's what he does. All right. After the deposition, Andy and Fatima had a deposition earlier that morning. Fatima is worried about the fact that she will never be as good as Andy. You know, she knows all the right questions to ask. You know, she's on top of her game. And Andy tells her, like, no, you know, you're not going to be as good as me. You're going to be better. Like, I want better for you, which, if I'm not mistaken, Fatima does want to be a lawyer ultimately. So, you know, she needs to get back in school to get things straightened out so that's what she can fulfill. And so she needs to get back in school, but she doesn't have everything straight yet. She also tells Andy that they haven't set a wedding date. And that's because, you know, they need to get everything straightened out with Heather and with Karen. It's a whole lot going on, and school is not at the top of a list of things to do, essentially. So once she gets that settled, she'll probably get back in school and kind of be able to refocus on what her ultimate goal is for her life. And we hope that she will. All right. Miss Decoy Tamara shows up at the office, and Fatima sees her. She appears to have brought lunch for Hayden, and Fatima seems frazzled. Like, she knows, like, I've made it clear to this lady, like, I don't want her working here. I really don't want her in the office. I just want her to distract Hayden, you know, on a certain level or whatever it is. And she's like, Hayden is looking. We need to talk about this later. And they break up the moment. She doesn't really trust her, and Zach sees the interaction. He's like, well, do we not like her? Like, what's going on? What's going on? She's like, no, you know, don't worry about it. I'll tell you later. And meantime, Miss Tamara, she's talking to Hayden, and he tells her that he is whisking her off to Miami this weekend. Yeah. Ain't known the girl but a few weeks. Maybe, I don't even know if it's been that long. But he's whisking her off to Miami. They are leaving tonight, and she don't have to pack nothing. They'll ball out. They'll, you know, get everything once they get there. I'm going to treat you like a queen, like you should be, blah, 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 whoop-de-whoop. And that is what they're going to do. Now, I'm not sure. It's giving, I figured you out and I want to get you out of the area to confront you. I don't know. Like, it didn't give, like, he was thoroughly excited about going to Miami. Maybe not. I don't know. I was thinking, like, okay, he did some research and maybe he figured out some stuff about Tamara, and now he just wants to confront her and maybe leave her stranded in Miami. That was just me. That's just what I'm thinking, because it's not giving as ecstatic as Tamara is to go to Miami. But we'll see. Hayden just might have a good poker face, but I don't know. Just thought it was interesting. All right. So a lady walks up to Danny's counter, and it is the lady that was there with Jonah, his child's mother, ex-wife, whoever she happens to be to him, which I can't recall at the moment. And she apologizes for having an attitude with Danny the last time that they were there. You know, she was under a lot of stress. Her and Jonah were trying to get to their son. Something had happened to him, and she still needs to leave again on her own to go back, you know, to check on her son. And she wanted to tell Danny to be careful, that Jonah is dangerous and he is off his rocker. And Danny tells him, like, no, he should be afraid of me. And she goes on to tell him, like, no. Like, she keeps reiterating, like, be careful. Like, there is something about Jonah that ain't right. Like, I need you to be careful. And then she goes on to tell Danny, like, he's out of jail. And Danny's like, why did you bail him out? And she tells Danny, no, I didn't bail him out. Which gives the implication, like, he's connected. He knows somebody, because if he tried to kill a lady, what bail are we talking about? There should not be any bail. Anyway, but she reiterates, like, okay, girl, I just really, really, really want you to be careful. Which, you know, again, maybe means he's well connected. Somebody pulled a few strings, which could prove to continue being a problem for Danny, unfortunately. All right. Then Hayden and Tamara roll up to Danny's counter, and they need to check in because they're about to go on a little rendezvous in Miami. And he's just really putting on this baller presence. Like, oh, well, where's the private area? This ticket should have came with a private area for me and her. Sir, if you don't go get in the American Express lounge or something to that effect and calm your ass down, I'm gonna know something. But anyway, she was like, Tamara was like, don't worry about it. The tickets were inexpensive. When I talked to your assistant, they were inexpensive, so it's not a big deal. He's like, we need to learn how to spend money. We're not broke. We don't have to be cheap. All this great stuff. But so they're headed to Miami to be fools or whatever is gonna happen on their little rendezvous in Miami. All right, Andy's on the phone with Gary, and he's trying to take her to dinner, but she ain't with it. She still has an attitude about his attitude because he still ain't really getting it together. He working on it, but he ain't worked enough. He's also worried about is Robin is there because she's being kind of short, and his response is, hey, is Robin there? And she's like, why are you worried about Robin? Like, what are you still giving that you haven't changed, that you haven't learned nothing? And so he's like, I did. And then he goes further to love bomb her. Google it if you're not familiar. I don't want to incorrectly describe it, but he goes on to love bomb her by sending her a singing telegram over to the office, and she's singing a little "Have You Ever Loved Somebody So Much It Makes You Cry" by Brandy. I ain't gonna sing it. My voice got enough going on. Anyway, she sings that right there in the middle of the office, and the receptionist is just inundated and just feeling ways about the situation, as well as Andy. Now she's on board, and she's back in his grasp like putty, and the saga gets to continue as far as Gary and Andy is concerned. All right, moving right on. And she knows that she knows that it was a ploy because she told the receptionist after the girl leaves. She tells the receptionist, oh, don't get too caught up. I'm still trying to, figure out his motives. Something to that effect that she said. So she knows that, there's some undertones in this, but it's like her whimsy or her desire to be in this romance novel circumvents sound decision making. That's Andy's problem, in my opinion. Anyway, Maurice goes to the hospital, and Q he woke Q up out of his sleep, and Q was sitting there looking real scared for once. For once in his life, he's looking afraid. He's calling for the nurse, and she's gone for the day, so she's not going to be there. And so Maurice asked him, like, hey, why did you set us up? Why did you set me and Sabrina up? He tells him, like, listen, y'all was just a pawn. It ain't personal. Y'all was just a pawn. And he tells Maurice, like, listen, I'm a snake. It just is who I am. And if you so happen to get bit, that's your business. And Maurice tells him, like, listen, I used to care about what happened to you. I'm the other person that was good to you. Reminds him of everything he's done for him, during the course of their relationship or situationship or whatever it is that they had. And he claims that there was nothing he could do. He's free. It's what he had to do to get free. And it's what he's going to continue to do to remain free, because he's not going back to jail. And he also says, kind of gives a little insight as to why he chose those two. He realizes, like, hey, these two don't have a record, and it's going to be easier for them to bounce back as opposed to him, who on probably his 2.5 strikes. At this point, he knows that he didn't want to go back to jail, so they just happen to be the scapegoats in the situation. And so Maurice is like, so you really not gonna tell the truth? And he's like, no, I'm good. Like, if you're looking for a heart, if you're looking to appeal to my sensibilities, I ain't got them. And so Maurice tells him, like, all right, cool. I hate to do it like this, but it's gonna be a price on your head. I have some money saved up, about $6K. I'm gonna give it to somebody, and you're out of here. You're out of here. So I want you to go ahead and count your days, because that's it and that's all. And I support the cause. I support the cause, because at this point, you've taken everything: his life, his job. Life as he know it ain't the same, and it may never be. So, hey, if my livelihood has to die, so do you, my friend. So Q. Now, what I do hope is that he recorded the conversation, because Maurice kind of sort of hinted at it, basically like, you guys are scapegoats. Who was going to defend me? Blah, 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 blah. Just kind of giving like a little bit of his motives as to why he did what he did. But some of Maurice's language, gave me like a little indication that maybe he was recording, because he was like, you know, why did you do this to me and Sabrina? This, me and Sabrina, blah, 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 me and Sabrina. Kind of repetitive, kind of wanting him to confirm what he's saying in the event that there was a recording. So hopefully he recorded the conversation and it's going to prove to be beneficial to the FBI, but we'll see. We'll see. Speaking of projections, in the preview for next week's episode, it looks like the FBI agent says he's not pressing charges on Maurice because Q was the witness and whatnot. I'm sorry, my head hit you. For whatnot. So yeah, Maurice is still going to be free to frolic and do what it is that he does. All right. Fatima and Zach, they are headed to Heather's. And it's a whole lot. It's a whole lot. You know, they're having a little powwow in the car, from not knowing about the kid to now confirming the identity to now not, you know, being worried about that child's well-being. It's a lot to take on in a small window of time. So, you know, I can understand his frustrations or apprehensions or whatever he feels right now. But right now ain't the time, because you got something more pressing to address. Why? Because they pull up to Heather's apartment and the baby is outside by himself. Mind you, it looks like there's like a street right outside of the apartments and a little piece of grass that's separate, like, you know, in between the two. And he's just there. He's just there on the little grass situation, playing with his car, not interacting with anybody, just very much unattended to. And so now, you know, Zach is getting increasingly frustrated, and we need action. And that's for me, I would be increasingly at the same levels, because this baby about to get chunked in his car and we're about to go. Because why is this baby outside by himself in the street? Now, there's a neighbor. We'll talk about the neighbor. Fatima's trying to keep him calm. There's a nosy neighbor looking in the window upstairs like she's the lady from 227, and she's just giving all the tea. And she tells her, like, hey, are y'all here for that lazy bee? Heather, I've called child services on her 4 times and they ain't did nothing. Essentially, he's out here all night and all day, most days, just attending to his own devices. The lady also says that he be hungry. He be real hungry, and he can't talk. Now, don't know how old the baby is. We're just gonna go 5, 6. He looks like a bigger child. So let's just say 6 for conversation's sake. So the child is about 6, and he does not know how to talk, and he is also in diapers. And so she's saying stuff, and, you know, she's saying little bad things about Heather. Seems like, you know, don't talk like that in front of the child. She's like, girl, you should hear what she calls him or what she says to him when y'all not around. Like, this little bit I'm saying ain't nothing compared to what Heather is saying to this baby. So Heather is the baby mama from hell. She just want that check to come through. She don't really give a damn about the well-being of the child or none of that, which is a lesson in being careful about who you had his babies with. But my soapbox is not readily available, so I won't be getting on that today. But that's just the lesson in that segment there. Just being careful who you have children with, because you don't know how that child's being treated when they're outside of your care and concern. For the fathers among us. Side note, happy Father's Day to the fathers. Not mine, because he ain't shit. But something's wrong with me. Either way, happy Father's Day. It's Father's Day. Y'all know I be late recording these videos. Either way, happy Father's Day. Y'all go be good and great and all that other stuff. Continue being great. For the ones that ain't shit, traffic, blindfolded, take a walk. All right. So they go inside the apartment, and Heather is looking a little nervous. You know, she's looking a little bit unnerved because they showed up early. She claims she was just about to change him and feed him. And so Zach is kneeling down, you know, playing with the baby, but not playing. What he's doing is he's not talking, because anything out of his mouth that comes next is going to be disrespectful, or you're probably going to put pause on Heather. So Fatima is doing a lot of the talking, but Fatima knows that they have to stay on the up and up because they want to do this legally, not streetly. Okay? All right. So, she hands them the signed papers, and she asked about the first check. She don't really care about nothing else but when that first check is going to come through. Fatima's trying to, you know, mediate between the two, but it's hard. It is real hard. Heather's starting to feel judged by the line of questioning, and she wants them out. And Fatima's like, no. We so sorry. We so sorry. Which this ain't Fatima's demeanor, but she knows, again, this is the role she has to play to keep things copacetic until we can figure out the parental situations legally. All right. So she wants them out, but then some dude, Mr. Jimmy, So Jimmy come walking up and he's giving very much dope slanger. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He's giving that type of vibe. And he's like, well, who these niggas is in the house or whatever, why they here, blah, 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 going back and forth with Heather. And she tells him, like, listen, this that little nigga daddy. Basically, this is daddy and his girlfriend. Ain't no smoke, ain't no problem. And he walks up and he's talking to baby Michael, and he says to baby Michael, hey, little nigga, get up and go take you a bath or something. You stink. Get up out of here and go. Like, you know, giving very much talking to this child a little bit too hard for my comfortability. And Heather's just sitting there just looking dumb. Just looking dumb as she can look. And again, got Mr. Jimmy standing over everybody. Zach is still kneeling down, trying to remain himself, still trying to, you know, distract the baby's attention away from what's going on. Still trying to keep his levels from getting out of 10. And he's talking trash. Jimmy talking trash. Fatima's trying to get out of Dodge, trying to pull Zach out of there because Zach is like, listen, not too much more. And he's like, oh, you the little nigga daddy. Like, when the check coming through? Like, you ain't brought no money with you? Like, what was going on? So again, they all about the money. All right, so Fatima basically almost has to drag him out of there. He knows that he's got to get custody. That's his sole goal. It's what's got to happen. It is what it is. If Tilton tells him, like, listen, we can do it legally. Let's just not take it to the streets because it's not going to work out how you think it is. We need to go back and talk to Andy. And again, he's out of this apartment, but he physically cannot leave that child in that situation. And as somebody who's been in a similar situation, y'all can say all y'all want to. Handle it legally. Do it through the system. Don't do it, you know, don't do it your way. It's not going to work out. Sometimes it is what's for dinner. And by that, I mean, listen, the neighbor said she had called Child Protective Services 4 times. Now, I know if Zach takes that baby with him today, while you are the parent, it could look a little kidnappy. Maybe. Look up the laws in Georgia. Maybe not. You got to figure that out. Either way, it's nice to say do it, you know, the legal way, but just considering the small aspect of her having called Child Protective Services 4 times means that the legal system don't be on what they supposed to be on. If that helps anybody. Sometimes you just gotta shake a bitch and get what you need done, but don't take your advice from me. I'm just telling you what to know. That's all. Moving right along. All right, so Gary shows up to the shop to help Aaron. Aaron called him over to help him with a favor, and he's falling apart. Like, again, he's still yelling like, yeah, can you help me? Because they ain't telling me nothing. I can't get no answers. Can you call somebody to get some information? And so he tells Gary everything that's happened, you know, up until this point. And Gary's going to call, I don't know if he said the mayor or the sheriff. He's calling somebody high ranking to see if he can get some information on what is going on with the shop. So we'll see. I'm sure we'll figure out what happens next week with that. All right. So they get back to the office and they want to talk to Andy about, Fatima and Zach get back to the office and they want to talk to Andy about, you know, guardianship and all the other stuff as it relates to Heather. But they go in and Pam is there to see her, and Pam is distraught, like, this ain't the Pam we know. So I immediately we know that there's a problem. So everybody rushes over to Pam to see what's going on. She tells them about the fire, about Karen being in the shop and not having much information. And now everybody has to go see. Zach rushes out, and then everybody has to go see what is going on with Karen. And that's where the episode ends. Hopefully it wasn't Karen. You know, hopefully it was somebody that maybe came in to save her and ended up succumbing. Sucks for that guy, whoever it is, but that's just my hope. Next episode, we'll kind of see everybody being in their emotions and feelings at the shop, trying to figure out what's really going on. And we'll deal with that next week. Very interesting episode. Couple moments of suspense, but it's giving a little bit filler. Not much meat to go off of, but it's the nature of the game. Let me know what y'all think about the episode. Interesting one. You know, not a whole lot of chit chat about it. Let me know what you think about the episode. Drop it in the comments. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Or whatever it is that you feel like doing. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.